Welcome everyone. We're back live streaming. I've had a couple of months break over Christmas and the New Year, but now we're back into live streaming lots of interesting people. And today I'm quite fortunate. I've got Mark Carreon, who's up and coming technical instructor based in Dauin, has agreed to be my first victim of 2021. And we're going to be streaming live from Grace's Dive Resort in Dauin. There is a link in the description, so if anyone's going to Dauin, please support her, because she's kindly allowed Mark to use her fiber optic Wi-Fi, which means we should get a very high quality production. Okay, Mark is probably one of the most respected divers in Dauin, Negros Oriental in the Philippines. However, diving wasn't his first choice. He's actually an architect by profession, and as you will discover, developed a passion for scuba diving. He'll tell us all about that. Now he's a highly qualified technical diving instructor who teaches at various resorts across Dauin. So he's an independent. He was just showing me his office the other day, the beach, where he gets down to 50 meters in about 10 minutes down the slope. So we're going to discuss how he got into scuba diving and his progression into becoming a technical diving instructor, and what his plans are for his future career in technical diving. He was talking to me earlier. He said some people think this is going to be all about the science. It's not. It's going to be all about Mark. And hopefully people watching and commenting might want to follow the same route as Mark, and understanding that technical diving it's not as difficult as one may think it is. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring Mark in and we'll get off with the first question. Well, we won't first, we'll just ask about Grace's Dive Resort. So how is it there, Mark?
Yeah, everything. Hi, Brian. Everything is good here. It's a nice sunny afternoon. Yeah. Weather is great. If you can see the light on on my face, that's the outdoors.
Yeah, and the connection's really, really good.
Yeah, the connection here is good.
Yeah. So right.
So
let's
Okay.
start off with a few questions about you before we get into the diving. Just for anyone who logs in, just type in your comments or questions, and we'll handle them as we go along. So, where are you from originally in the Philippines? Are you from Dauin, Mark?
No, Brian. I'm originally from Manila, but I got a job in the Middle East, and I lived there for nearly 2 decades.
Wow.
So, I was born in Manila, but I was fortunate enough to learn diving elsewhere.
Right. Where did you learn?
I learned in the Middle East.
Okay. So all right. We'll come on to that a bit later. So why have you chosen Dauin to settle? I mean, there's hundreds of great diving destinations in the Philippines, but you chose Dauin. So I'm interested to understand how you made that decision.
So after the Middle East, I did a semi-early retirement. I just don't want to wait up to 65 until I retire. So I just want to do what I enjoy doing most. So the first job I got in the Philippines from after coming back was a job in Cebu. I was a resort manager, and that same company had a branch here in Dauin. So I was reassigned in Dauin, and since then never left. But I'm not with the company anymore. I'm not with the company anymore, so still here.
Okay, so I mean, as we know, diving wasn't your first career. Architecture was. And yes. Are you still practicing architecture?
I'm semi-retired, but once in a while, friends come to me, wants to design something, wants to renovate something, so I cannot say no.
All right. Okay. So you keep your hand in, so to speak.
Yeah. Currently, I have some small projects from friends, so that's how it goes here.
Right. Okay. so you studied, qualified as an architect, worked for 2 decades in the Middle East. How did the interest in scuba diving come around?
Okay, so actually it was by choice. I was doing photography as a hobby and as a side profession. So one day I got bored. I want to shoot something else. So I wanted to shoot marine life and other underwater creatures.
Right.
So that's when I decided to take scuba courses. I was not certified then, but I was just trying out, and I loved it.
All right. So it wasn't a love of the ocean or anything. It was actually your creative side in photography said, right, I've got to learn to dive, right?
Yes.
So that's quite interesting.
So it was a decision I made because of photography during those time.
Right. Okay. So how long have you been diving, Mark?
So I've been diving for 9 years now, 6 years as an instructor.
Okay. So I mean that was a relatively late entrant, right? 9 years ago, and
yeah, 9 years ago.
You're already well into the technical diving. So actually, where it was 9 years ago, but where did you learn? You said the Middle East, but whereabouts in the Middle East?
Yes, actually, you won't believe that I learned scuba diving in Saudi Arabia.
On the Red Sea.
I was stationed in Riyadh, so I had to travel for 12 hours only to dive. So
right, but it was worth it,
very
right?
hard. It was worth it.
Because the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia, compared to Israel, Jordan, and Egypt, is relatively undived, relatively speaking, except for local residents.
Yes, it's the best because Saudi Arabia is still closed to tourists during those times. You cannot just go to Saudi Arabia.
All right. No, I have fond memories of diving in the Saudi Red Sea because I also learned to dive in Saudi Arabia, but I learned in Jubail at the British Tobacco Club branch there. So our favourite spot was Half Moon Bay in Dhahran, which is now a big resort. Of course, in those days there was a small sunken dhow and an artificial tire reef. And then when I moved to Riyadh and taught diving at the military hospital there, then we used to make trips to the Red Sea, and it blew my mind.
But Half Moon Bay is very salty, it's high salinity.
Yeah. Oh, but we used to. I just remember we used to take dhow trips out to an island called Jana, and I think the other one was called Jaraid. They were good. They were nice and clear and very good reefs. Much better than we get in Dubai, in the Arabian Gulf in Dubai. I've never seen anything like the reefs we had up in the Northern Gulf. Okay, so what's your highest level of certification at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm a recreational open instructor trainer for RAID, and I'm a master instructor as well for PADI. So I have these 2 main agencies under my belt.
Yeah. So RAID, you're doing the technical diving instruction through RAID or another agency?
Actually, for the technical diving instruction, I do it for 3 agencies. So
right.
TDI, RAID, and PADI. But for recreational, I mostly do it with PADI for recreational diving.
All right. And why do you stay with PADI? Because I understand SSI is becoming very popular in the Philippines now. Because it's a lot more cost effective, right? As an independent instructor, renewals, materials, all that stuff.
By the way, I was an SSI instructor as well, but
right. Okay.
That was it was 5 years ago. But I'm not active anymore.
No,
so when I was in the middle, so when I was in the Middle East, and I crossed over to SSI. SSI back then was very young in the Middle East, so it's not yet highly marketable.
Yeah.
So people there go with PADI. So I did not continue with SSI during that time.
For me, because I don't teach all the time, I generally teach friends and people who ask me. It's just a cost issue, the cost of renewal, the cost of materials, it's just so much cheaper, you know.
Yes.
So yeah. So, but I have seen online that SSI is gaining traction in the Philippines.
Yeah. Actually, in the Philippines, it's SSI and PADI head to head.
Right. That's interesting. So you've got a real passion for technical diving. How did that come about? Because you wanted to learn to dive to take photographs, and technical divers generally are not known for wanting to go deep to take photographs in general, unless it's a special project. So where did that passion come from?
It's curiosity and the willingness to learn more. So basically, like everyone else, we are hardwired to explore. So mine is just exploring the deeper end of the ocean. So when I started diving, I never had any idea with regards to technical diving. I didn't even know it existed. So I was an open water diver then with nitrox certification. So I want to do advanced nitrox. So my agency did not have advanced nitrox. So I tried to search online. So when I was in the Philippines, I tried to I enrolled, not tried. I enrolled in advanced nitrox, but from another agency, which is IANTD.
Yeah, they were very strong at the start of the tech diving
Yes.
revolution.
So I never ever thought that it was it was the doorway to technical diving. So first time I experienced diving outside the recreational limit, and it was great. It felt good. You know the pressure. You know the. It's very silent. It's very peaceful down there.
Right. So so did you do the INTD course in Philippines or in the Red Sea?
In Philippines.
Or in Saudi? In Philippines.
No, in the Philippines. Yes. So I did my training in with advanced nitrox and normoxic trimix. So during that time, it was my first dive at 60 meters. So I was an advanced open water level. At the same time, I was a technical diver. And during the course, Sam, my instructor, asked me, "Are you doing the maximum depth?" I told him, "Okay, sure, yes," because the maximum depth was 200 feet or 60 meters. So we planned for the 60-meter, and that was the first time I told myself, "This is for me."
Right. So you were hooked straight away. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
So after that, when I became an instructor, I wanted to cross over my rating to PADI to be a tech rec instructor. So what I did was I crossed over my diver level, then I did my instructor training.
So you do
but
tech
basically
rec for PADI as well?
Yes, tech rec for PADI.
Yeah. Okay. So are you the only technical instructor in Dauin?
Not as I know. We have, I think we're only a handful here, but not all are teaching. Because most of the technical instructors here, they're foreigners. They teach recreational diving, although they have the rating of technical instructor.
Okay. So,
and another thing is logistics issue. So, before O2, nitrox, or helium is very hard to come by.
Yeah.
So they prefer to just teach recreational than technical diving.
So would I be correct in saying that you're the most active technical instructor in Dauin?
Yes, for now.
For now.
Because most of them already left.
Right, because of the pandemic and stuff.
Yes.
So where do your customers generally come from then, or your clients or your students?
It's either the US or my former students in the Middle East, Europeans.
Right, okay. So they come to Dauin to do technical diving with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and what courses are you qualified to teach currently in technical?
Well, I'm teaching PADI Tech Rack program, TDI, and rate programs.
Right.
But for now, I'm comfortable teaching students up to the 50-meter level. So deeper than that, I don't really. I'm not really promoting deeper than 50 meters. Although I can teach deeper than 50 meters, but with regards to logistics, with regards to cost, it's very uneconomical.
Yeah, it's quite funny that we now consider 50 meters to be, a deep technical, or the start of deep technical diving. When I learned to dive in 1982, BSAC divers from third class upwards could dive to 50 meters, and I still remember the tables, 8 minutes at 50 meters. But now, I mean, and the BSAC has changed its position now.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm a big fan of recreational limit being 40 now, particularly with the new research into gas density.
The gas density.
And I don't know how we got away with it. I guess it's because we were young, pretty fit. In those days, once you hit 50, you couldn't even qualify as a first-class diver anymore in the BSAC. I think that's all changed now. What about rebreathers? Any plans? Because that, although it's a big capital outlay, it does make the cost of diving, deep diving, much reduced, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, indeed. Sooner or later. Sooner or later, rebreather will be the new scuba normal because of technology. Before, it was very expensive at around $15,000 per unit. But now you can buy a $5,000 unit, side mount unit.
So are you planning to go into rebreathers?
Yes. Sooner or later. Sooner or later, we will be going there.
Yeah.
It was just like nitrox before. No one wants to go into nitrox because but now everyone is on nitrox.
All right. So from that, I take it. I mean, do you plan to go higher in the tech diving profession? I guess by wanting to go into rebreathers, that's kind of a automatic yes, isn't it?
Yes. Well, hopefully in the next few years, when things open up and the rebreather is very affordable,
so
any
sort of indications which rebreather you'll go with? Because rebreather training does tend to be unit specific.
Yes.
Say, I said, right, I'll say $10,000, Mark. What unit would you buy, or 2 units would you buy for $5,000?
For $5,000, I'll buy the KISS. I love the KISS unit. Yes. Right. The side mount, the sidewinder.
Right.
So, but of course, you need to invest on 2 units.
Yeah.
If you want to teach.
Yeah. Have you heard of the one of the guys? I think he was the pioneer in side mount rebreather, David Street and Dive Systems International with his Proteus units. Have you heard of those?
Proteus. I don't think so.
Well, I'll put David in contact with you because I know he's doing a lot of work in India. He wants to enter the Middle East, and I guess the Philippines is on his rebreather bucket list. So I'll speak to him. He might do you a deal.
Hopefully.
So, I did do an interview with him last year, so that is on my channel if anyone wants to look at it. But yeah, he's a guy I've known since I think 80 or 81, because we were both in engineers in construction together, and both ended up in diving. But he's gone into
diving.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be. I'll see what he can do for 2 units side mount for you. He may do something very special. Okay. Hopefully. So looking at your Facebook page and all of that, I saw you quite recently qualified with RAID. in addition to the other agencies you qualified to teach. Why did you go for RAID?
Yeah, RAID being new in the market and being young in the market has a higher standard of training. It's in my humble opinion because they are a technical agency teaching recreational diving.
Yeah.
So which means the level of standards is a little bit different, and the level of safety is let's say it has a margin. It has a more
Right.
safety margin than the normal, the normal.
So if someone was to call you up to do a recreational, say, right, I want to learn to dive, what would your initial recommendation to them be?
It really actually I'm giving them options. So I'm giving them two agencies to choose from and explain to them the pros and cons. Not really the pros and cons, the advantage and the disadvantage of one over another. So basically, one agency is more strict, one agency is more lenient. So it really depends on the diver.
In general, I mean, do people go for the more lenient or for the more strict?
People usually go for the more lenient, even if it's very expensive. Even if you tell them that the cost of material is a little bit different, and the cost of this material, the other agency is different also. It's basically the brand name.
Yeah.
What they know is they follow the brand name. Just like eating in McDonald's.
Yeah.
They know burger is affiliated with McDonald's. So who wants to have a burger? McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's just like the diving agency. It's synonymous with diving because they did a very good marketing. Marketing is the key.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So people are going for the brand over the safety.
Yes.
Or after more than the more rigorous training. I mean, that says a lot, really, doesn't it?
But
yeah.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to the instructor.
Yeah.
If the instructor is not teaching on the bare minimum standards, then you get a good instructor for the student. If the instructor is doing short courses with the bare minimum, just to take out the skills, then you produce a bad diver, in which we know, we all see it everywhere.
Yeah, the reef chompers, overweight, consuming their air like anything. Yeah, and I guess that's where agencies like RAID and I guess to a certain extent GUE have sort of said, right, we're going to do open water type courses, but they're going to be more rigorous and teach to a higher level, which I guess is good, and in many ways it could also be considered bad. What I mean, I learned through the BSAC club system, and I still like to think that for entry-level divers, that is still one of the best trainings you can get. But again, it all comes down to the instructor, not the agency, right? Because I remember when I used to teach for PADI, for example, and what a lot of instructors I used to see used to not think about, they were the minimum standards. So it was 4 open water dives and an optional snorkel dive. But on many occasions, I used to do 6 dives with people, and they'd say, "Oh, what, you just want to charge me for dives?" And I'd say, "Well, no, I'm not. Did I say I was going to charge you? I think you need 2 more dives before I can certify you." And other instructors in the market used to think I was an idiot, But word used to get around. Oh, we had 6 dives. Because they just wanted to, and this is before peak performance buoyancy and all of that came out. It was just, I used to focus on getting their buoyancy right at the end, right? Because if they leave the course continuing to be overweighted, right? And I still believe at 4 dives, you can't really get the buoyancy to where it should be.
Yes.
And I think at 6 dives, then they start to understand it. So, yeah, but I always used to find that really strange that instructors would just knock students out, and then I'd pick them up for advanced or something, and I'd have to go through a lot of the stuff they were supposed to have been taught, you know. Okay, so COVID-19. It's hit all of
my
us.
best friend, COVID-19 is my best friend last year.
So I guess it's
2020.
severely, from what I see and talking to people, it's severely disrupted the dive industry in the Philippines, as tourists
It
still
killed.
can't
It killed the
visit.
diving industry.
Any idea when
2020.
things will get back to normal?
Well, hopefully, slowly and surely, the Philippines is slowly opening up. But with current surges a few days ago,
With what?
with current surges of cases in Manila,
Yeah.
I just hope that that things will be normal soon.
So
Because
as
a few months or last month, we are slowly opening up. So
yeah.
a few weeks ago, cases are climbing up.
Right. So
So
but you've been able to teach diving recently then and go diving, yeah?
yeah. So right now, the Philippine government suspended again only yesterday or today the incoming flights for foreigners
Into
up
Manila.
into the Philippines.
Right, okay. Because I read something today that Cebu and Clark was still okay, but only 1,500 people in total could go through Manila Airport. So they've suspended
Yeah,
foreigners, have they?
yeah, they suspended foreigners again.
Even if foreigners have got family in the Philippines, are they allowed in now or
Uh,
not?
no, unless the foreigner has family in the Philippines, it's okay.
It's okay,
And
right? So
also refer
those rules are
yes,
still there.
those rules are yes.
And I guess that everything changes daily because the situation's fluid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple of people online. If you want to put any questions to Mark, just type them in. We will talk about them. We will answer the questions. I understand you donate a lot of time and effort with the local government and other bodies with respect to scuba diving in Dauin, in the Dauin area. Can you tell the viewers some of the projects you're currently involved in?
Okay. So basically, one of the reason I'm in the dive industry right now is to help out locals. Right now in this resort, I have 2 trainees for dive master. So I always do pro bono works for people who cannot afford. I give them free time as long as they provide me with the materials and of course the rental gears. And up to date, I have taught several students up to the dive pro level.
Wow.
So what my thinking is, we have plenty of locals, and they cannot even compete with foreigners with foreign instructors around because they cannot they don't have the proper funds, and most of them grew up near the grew up near the
Near the
sea.
sea, yeah.
Yeah, near the sea. So these are ocean people. Even if you do not teach them how to swim, since birth they've been swimming. So it's
Yeah,
not hard to teach them scuba diving.
yeah. I mean, they're just natural. We call them water babies, right?
Yes, they're all water babies. So for me, it's just like putting them in the right direction,
Yeah,
certifying them and training them properly on scuba diving.
right. Have you seen on
Okay.
Critter Hunter's channel where he's got his scuba apprentice? You know, he dives with a dive guy called Alex, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah,
Um, and
Alex.
his daughter,
Alex is my friend. Yeah, he's
yeah,
my
and
friend.
his daughter now is she's just finished her open water course.
Yeah.
So
So
and again, I think that's amazing because if Shai sticks with it, creates her own YouTube channel, becomes a dive guide, and ultimately an instructor, I mean, that's just going to change her and her life completely,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Even his father is very excited because the daughter wants to follow the footsteps.
Yeah. So no,
So
well, between all of us, I think we're making it happen. So I think we can count on you to do a couple of courses for her.
actually, what I already talked to Justin. I told her I will do her CPR, her EFR course.
Right.
So,
Well, I would like her to do a night diver specialty before she does advanced, because Justin does a
yes.
lot of. Now, I'll pay for the materials if you can do the night dive specialty
Okay.
for her.
I'll
She's
give
got
her
her
the
own
night
gear
dive
now.
specialty.
She's got her cylinders. She's got her
Yes.
BCD. She's got everything. So I'm quite willing
Okay.
to pay for the materials if you'll do the night diver specialty for her.
Okay, you got a deal. I'll do it for her.
Great. Yeah, fantastic.
And
Because
I will do the EFR as well for her as I talk to Justin. So because they were but maybe around a few weeks ago, Justin was buying a lot of medical of medical materials as well as the oxygen tank. I told them,
yeah, well,
why do
I'm
you need?
working with him. I'm developing for his. I think what's he call that? Critter Gitter scuba mobile. You know.
Yeah.
So I've just managed to swap. Because I've got a big collection of diving equipment, and an instructor recently retired, gave me 20 cylinders, a load of regulators to refurbish. So there's a Filipino instructor here called Ray who was selling 2 100 cubic foot aluminium tanks. I contacted him, looked on his Facebook page, and he teaches a lot of Filipinos and Filipinas. And I said, would you like a couple of, I think they're 63s or 67s, in a swap for the 100s? And he said yes. So I've got 2 100 cubic foot aluminium cylinders, which I need to oxygen clean now, and they're destined along with my with an oxygen reg kit that I'm setting up for Justin, because he gave me a challenge. He sent me a challenge email, so I thought, well, this is easy for me to do. And with the Balik Bayern box, of course, it's easy to ship. I mean, it's just an amazing system, the Balik Bayern box. Yeah, it's just you can move anywhere, anything from around the world to the Philippines cost effectively. Yeah, so that's cool. I really appreciate that. I really, really do, because I think getting her night diving will increase her confidence, increase her skills before she does the advanced open water course. So that's pretty cool. I thank you for that, Mark.
I can throw in also the navigation specialty.
Right.
Look, those are important things. Night diving and the navigation. So I'm good for that.
Big thumbs up, man. Big thumbs. Okay, so let's get on to a bit more lighter subject. Favorite dive location in the Philippines?
Okay, my favorite dive location in the Philippines is everywhere. Everywhere I go.
Come on, you must have.
Yes.
Okay. Where have you not been? Where you want to go?
Samal Island. I'll be going there. Samal Island. In the
Island.
south, in Davao.
Yeah.
I heard it's a very good dive site.
Right.
And it's uninhabited. I mean, it's very not really uninhabited. It's there's no operations there. There's no diving operations there.
So how are you going to do the logistics and get there?
Oh, I'm building my right now. I'm building my small camper van, and I can hold all my materials there. Camper van.
What's that?
You know the van with the.
Oh, camper van. Yeah, camper van.
Yes, camper van.
I was actually thinking that it was some sort of boat.
No.
It's an island. I think. How's he going to get to the? Is that a new word for a type of banker? It's a camper. You're building a camper van.
No, there's always a Roro. Inter-island travel. So it's easy.
Right. So it's easy. All right. Okay. Oh, we'll have to touch base on that.
I went to Dauin with the car.
Yeah.
I travel around with the car.
I'll have to pick your brains on that, because I want to come from, because I've got access to a small car which gets in a lot of scuba gear. and I'll talk to you outside of this in how to get down to the south on the Ro-Ro, because it's very difficult sitting in Dubai trying to figure out how to do it online. I mean,
No.
Right, so something like that. So anywhere else you want to go in the Philippines that you've not been to?
In the northern area, especially in Batanes. I also heard that it's also a good dive site. Yeah, Batanes.
I had my flights booked with Philippine Airlines. There's just, I think, one dive operator there, and then it was literally, it was the day before I was going to transfer the money to the dive operator when the country closed down. I'd already paid for the flights, and thankfully, a big shout out to Philippine Airlines. They did refund the money. So that was pretty good. But that was, I wanted to go up to Batanes. So
Batanes is great, and it's only one dive operator there.
Yeah, well, I might go and not come back, right? Okay, outside of the Philippines, bucket list diving destinations.
Rock Lagoon and the Maldives.
Well, I've just come back from the Maldives.
I know. You made me jealous.
I'm going back.
I saw the video.
Well, wait till you see. I'm going back in 2 weeks because I've got to go to England for some medical reasons. Nothing serious. It's just to pick up some meds for psoriasis, a skin complaint I have, which I can't get them here. So I'm going back to the Maldives for 10 days to do my quarantine there. Then I'm going to fly British Airways back home, do another 10 days quarantine at my sister's house.
By the way, on another note, they still do quarantine in Maldives?
No, you have a PCR when you arrive, before you leave.
Okay.
Right, so you enter with a valid PCR test, and then you then go to your hotel or liveaboard, and then on the liveaboard I was staying, they will actually do the PCR for you a few days before, and then they send it up to Mali by air. But I actually did mine in Mali. They turn it around in 6 hours. So I had a day in Mali because I've got some business in. So it was just to get another PCR and then back to. I mean, I was speaking to the person who was doing the exit test, and I said, "How many cases are you getting?" And they said, typically we're getting 1 per day positive result, but without symptoms. And then you can't travel. They immediately quarantine you for up to 14 days. I think you can be out within 5 if you pass a couple of PCR tests. So that's how they control it. Even when you're exiting and you test positive, if you do test positive, then you will go into quarantine. And I think they've done a pretty good job. I spoke to all of the crew on the boat, and they didn't know anyone that had been positive in their communities. So, it's really the only way I can get back to England. So it's really, I mean, inconvenient going diving in the Maldives for 10 days. But someone has to do it. Okay, we're just about finished, Mark. We'll just finish up on, what's your favorite YouTube channel and why?
Usually I follow agency channels to be updated to the skills. Most of the time, if I'm not listening to BGs, I follow the agency channels. It's my comfort music. The BGs.
Right, the BGs.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the first person I've had on the show that has admitted to following the BGs. Probably the last.
I mostly follow agency channels as a resource.
Right, so you're just doing continuing education, using YouTube for continuing education all the time, which is good. Yeah, you're a lot younger than me, so you've still got that energy. The brain's still active. Okay, Mark.
Age is only age is only a number.
Yeah, that's what.
Age is only a number.
Yeah, but the bigger the number it gets, the more you feel it.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I mean, I dived pretty hard in the Maldives last week, and the first couple of days I was absolutely cream crackered. But after that, on the third day, I just kind of had this surge of energy and was back into it, So, yeah. So, yeah, probably on the third day, age was just a number. But on the first 2 days, age was definitely a big number. Anyway, Mark, thanks for agreeing to the interview. I'm sure people who watch this, because it'll be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow, that they StreamYard and it'll be on Facebook. They take about a day to process it all and upload it. But really interesting. I've learned something more about the Philippines and the diving in the Philippines. And I'm sure viewers are really going to enjoy understanding this, what you've said here about being able to tech dive in Dauin and what you do and where you're going, and that rebreathers will be coming sometime soon, pandemic permitting, I guess. Anything you'd like to finish up on, Mark?
Well, I just like to tell the viewers, come visit the Philippines.
Yeah, I second that.
Put it in your bucket list. It's you won't regret visiting the Philippines.
People are great. The diving's excellent.
We have 7,000 islands to explore.
Right, there you go. So, I mean, if I go to all of those and spend 2 days on each, I'll probably be dead by the end. Anyway, people, visit the Philippines when it opens up. They do need our tourist diving dollars. It is a fabulous place to dive. If you want to get in touch with Mark, just drop me an email. If you look on most of my videos on YouTube, my email address is there. I'll pop it in the description on this one when it's up on YouTube. And then between Mark and I, if you want to visit Dauin, we'll try and make it happen for you. Mark, thanks very much. I really appreciate the time. And we'll be talking again soon. David Street's come on. Fingers crossed for the CCRs. David, well, you've got a potential customer there in Mark. He's in the market for 2 very cost-effective side mount units. KISS is his favourite purchase at the moment. I don't know if you saw earlier when we were talking about it, David, but I'll give you Mark's email address and you can contact him. One thing's for sure, he'll take you on some good diving when you're teaching him the unit. Critter Hunter, he's here as well. Yeah, sorry I'm late. Anyway, good, Justin, good to hear from you. We've had a talk about you. Mark's offered to do Shai's night dive and her underwater navigation, in addition to the EFR that he's already spoken to you about. So that's a big result from this interview. So if no one's got any questions, I'm going to close down the interview, and we'll see you all next time. Once again, Mark, thank you. Give Gracie a big thank you from me. This is coming live from Gracie's Dive Resort, who kindly allowed Mark to use her fiber optic Wi-Fi. So the details, her Facebook link is in the description for this video. So please, if you're going to Dauin, please support that small local operation. So that's it from me. Over and out.
Thank you, Brian.